Realtors doing over 10 deals a year. This is why you need to have one acquisition channel in your business. Now, welcome. My name is Stefan Vandeflaziker, the co-founder of Nurture AI, along with my amazing partner, Andreas Contreras. And the other day, I was chatting with Justin, a real estate agent, who's doing about 1.6 million a year in GCI, and everything on the outside seemed to be going great. Everything seemed to be going well, right? I mean, who could complain making that much money? But upon discussing a little further, we realized that under the sunshine and rainbows, there was a bit of dark clouds. We realized that he wasn't where he thought he should be. And that was simply due to one thing, and that was that he was spending way too much time on multiple different acquisition channels so that he could never perfect one. You see, what happened was he spent all his time on all these different ones, which allowed him to never really get good at one. There's a saying that goes, he who tries to help everybody ends up helping nobody. And that's because when you try and be the best at everything, you become the best at nothing. And it's because you try and do too many different things. You spread yourself too thin. And it's the same in business. And I myself had to learn that lesson the hard way. So I hope that this video can make sure you don't have to learn that lesson the hard way. So listen, this isn't going to be a high school science class. I'm not going to sit here and talk about potential and kinetic energy and mechanical and manual, all this stuff. No. But I'm sure we could all agree that if this biker wanted to get from here, point A to point B, he would be better off doing that going in one direction rather than going this way and then that way and then up and then down and then backwards and left and right and then hopefully in 10 years maybe arriving at point B, right? Going in one straight line would get him there quicker. And that's simply because when you focus your time on multiple different things, your energy gets spread too thin. And if we know anything about energy in this stuff, it's like when we put a lot of energy into one thing, we get a lot greater and better return than if we spend it on multiple different things, right? And so actually, if we think of ourselves, if we think of us as a ball of energy, which we are, think of yourself every morning when you wake up, you are 100% energy. And everything you do in a day takes a bit of your energy. So for example, let's say you only did two things in a day. Let's say you did two things of forms of marketing or sales, two forms of acquisition in a day. You would be spending 50% of your energy on one, 50% on the other. Now, what if you spent 100% on one? Well, that means in one day you would double your output because you've now put double the amount of energy into this one thing. You would get way more out of it. Now imagine that over time compounding. We can see when we break it down visually, it makes sense to focus all our time and energy into one thing. As a matter of fact, the reason that I'm probably standing here making this video is because I didn't know this as a kid. As a kid, or I guess even as almost a young adult, I was really good at two sports, hockey and volleyball. There was one problem. I was good at both. I was never great at both. And what happened is I ended up spending both my time equally, 50% hockey, 50% volleyball. And so what happened? Well, as you can guess, I'm not a pro, otherwise I wouldn't be standing here, but I never made it anywhere because I spent so much time doing both. I could never excel and become great at one. And what did that cause me to do? Well, it ultimately caused me to quit both of them and never really excel and make it anywhere because I was never great at one. And that's because I didn't put all my time and energy into one of them. And so if there's one thing I learned from that, it's that when we want to get good at something, we need to just focus in on that one thing and do it every single day until we become the best at it. 'Cause it's better to become the best at one thing than okay at a bunch of things. And so if you feel that you agree, then this video is perfect for you. And I'm going to give you an example of what that looks like for the partners that we work with. One of the acquisition channels that we use, and I'll even break it down for you so you can take it and steal it and use it yourself. So let's go down here. Ads. Okay, this is obviously, now I'll preface this with saying there's multiple acquisition channels, right? Like I was at a mastermind a couple of months ago with Levi and Travis, who've done, I think, 4.5 million in the last 2 years in GCI alone, and they do just YouTube. And it works exceptionally well for them. But guess what? There's a common theme here. They use just YouTube. I was also talking to Christian Mortuzzo, an amazing agent in the Toronto area. He uses just TikTok and Instagram, just these short form social media platforms. And that's all he does for acquisition. And he makes, I don't even know how much money, but a lot more than I do. And so there's one common theme I learned, and it's that, you know, if you want to become great at something, you just got to focus on one. And a common theme I've seen with these agents is that the agents that are doing the best tend to just focus and hone in on one thing, and they become the best at that one thing. And so today I'm going to share with you one of the ways that you can do this. Now, like I said, you can do YouTube, you can do Instagram, you can do TikTok, you can do ads on multiple different platforms. You can do cold email, you can do cold call, you can door knock, you can do ISOs, you can call FSBOs, you can work your sphere. You can do what you like, okay? But whatever you do, become the best at that thing. Become the absolute best. And so today I'm going to give you the ads example, as that is the most common And the most scalable one, right? If you knew that for every $1 in you put, you get $5 out every single time, how much money would you put in? Well, probably a lot. And that's the way ads work. And that's why I'm going to break it down, because it's my favorite one. It's the most scalable and the most efficient and the most predictable. So let's get into it, right? Ads. Boom. You run the ad. Pretty simple. You run the ad. Now, depending on your offer, you can have different offers in this such, but in this case, the one that we like to do is claim a certain training, right? So perhaps, let's say you work with just buyers. You could make a training on how buyers can save $20K on their next purchase, or how sellers can negotiate better, or whatever the case is, whatever training that you could give, or any sort of a lead magnet. In this case, I should really say lead magnet. You give that out for some quick, easy information. Quick, easy information, name, phone, email, boom, done, you get the thing. Little friction so we can get a bunch of leads. Now, here's where the quality comes in, right? Here's where it's like, if you get really good at one, you can start to build on these topics and build on these things and get really good. So you get the information, boom, we've got some leads. Great. We've got some cheap, okay leads, not the best, right? But that's where the second process comes in. Now, you send them the training. But after you send them the training, they get redirected to a VSL page. Okay, or you could redirect them to anywhere really, but in this case, we're going to redirect them to a VSL. Now, what's going to happen is they're hopefully going to watch this VSL, and one of two things will happen, right? One, they watch the VSL and they book a call. If they book a call, they have pretty high intent, right? If they voluntarily book a call with you after watching a video of you, one, they're already pre-nurtured, right? And two, they have some intent. So now you're talking to people who actually already want to talk with you. And then they're going to get sent an entire indoctrination sequence to make sure they know you even more. Because in order to make a sale, people are going to know, like, and trust you. And the more they know, like, and trust you, the easier the sale will be, right? Think about referrals. Everybody loves referrals. Well, why? It's because they already know, like, and trust us. The sale is easy. Now all we got to do is help them. Same concept here. So book a call, indoctrination sequence gets sent out. Now, let's say they both don't book a call, which most people don't, because most people don't voluntarily want to give up their time unless you're really good, which you might be, because we have some pretty good VSL decks. Here's what's going to happen. There's going to be a follow-up sequence, right? There's going to be a huge follow-up sequence to make sure we help them. And one of the best things about sending them the training in the first place is simply this. You can follow up and say, hey, name, how was that training I sent you? Did you get a chance to watch it? Did you like it? Yada, yada, yada. It's a super easy way to break the ice and to start a conversation without it feeling like a cold call. Because you can just be like, hey, did you get the training? Right? You're just making sure. And then from there, it's like, oh, yeah, I got it. Oh, did you get a chance to watch it? Yes, no, maybe so. Continue the conversation. It's super natural and it's super easy way to start talking to these people. Now, granted, you can have assistants call these leads as well. 100% works. And we do that all the time, right? And then obviously after this comes an entire prospecting, or I guess I should say passive nurturing system, right? There's going to be one SMS that gets sent out, one email, a double dial, and depending on, what your kind of follow-up system is, obviously a bunch more tailored to what you want to do, right? Take this and implement it as you will. But in our case, we have a 10-year passive prospecting system, which essentially passively prospects and nurtures your leads for you for the next 10 years. So when anybody is ready to buy or sell, you will be the first person they think of, and plus, not the first person they think of, the best person they think of, because they know, like, and trust you, because you've been providing value and helping them out for the last, perhaps 10 years. So they will come to you and they will already know, like, and trust you. Therefore, the sale becomes a lot easier. Now, if you're still with me, first off, thanks, and I hope that this was of some value. I hope that the 8 minutes and 42 seconds you've spent here with me have been in excess of the time you've provided. But I hope that this was valuable to you guys, right? Like, I learned a very hard lesson at a young age that, you cannot be the best at everything. I always, being the older brother, I always wanted to be the best. Being a big sports guy, I always wanted to be the best. But I realized, big ego hit, is that you cannot be the best at everything. You just cannot. You have to just focus on one particular thing, right? Think about Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt didn't start playing hockey and basketball and football and golf. No, he just focusing on sprinting. Think about Ronaldo or Messi. They didn't start playing all these other sports. No, they just focused on one. And that's why they're the best now. It's because they just focus on one thing. And the same concept applies in business. And so I hope that this short video can perhaps help you out and give you some guidance on, spending your time focusing and dialing in on one thing, because your time will be much better spent focusing on one thing rather than a bunch of different things, because the second you become the best at one, it's easy from there on out. So, hope this video is valuable. If you want to, see our system and kind of see what we do, feel free to give me a ring, schedule a call. Would love to kind of walk you through the system and see if it's something that could even work for you, right? Obviously, we partner up with agents, so we only work with a handful of agents at a time. And so I would love to just chat and worst case scenario, just give you a bunch of value that you can take and implement yourself. Other than that, it's been Stefan. I'll see you in the next one.